Hi people, I know it's been a while since I uploaded anything. I've been drowning in work and also I guess my priorities have shifted. But one of the main reasons is that I actually didn't feel like I had anything useful or helpful to share in the past 2 months, perhaps. But recently though, because I was assigned an intern, okay, this is not even recent, but at least in the past month, I had 2 interns under me, and I thought that it might be helpful to share how to be a good intern. Honestly, it is very difficult to stand out as an intern. Most of the things that you'll be assigned to do are non-essential items. Not saying that your work doesn't matter or is not important, but it's more like the work that you do will not be the most urgent and important at that point in time, because urgent and important work can only be done by an actual employee, right? So the work that you do will probably be helpful, but it may not be the most crucial. So in that sense, it's very hard to stand out in terms of a work quality. But I must say that the only way that you can stand out in terms of work would be to produce excellent research. Like for instance, if your research is comprehensive and essentially it answers the questions, whether you find an answer or not. So that is one way that your work can stand out. But even then, I think the non-work stuff actually matters a lot more. One principle I think is super important to remember is that the little things are important. The little things count. So even if you produce excellent work and even if you are like the top student and everything, but if you don't pay attention to the little things, then I think this will also kind of affect the impression that your mentor or the person who's going to evaluate you will form about you. And what I mean by little things is that, for instance, if work starts at 9, then you better be at your seat at 9. Even though this is like the COVID season and there's some leeway in terms of work from home, I think the arrangement at where I work was that the intern can follow the mentor schedule. So if the mentor is working from home, then the intern doesn't have to be in the office. And I think that makes perfect sense. But let's say if that day your mentor is working in office and you're supposed to come to office, then I think you should come to the office on time. Because I know a lot of associates and senior associates, they tend to come a bit later to office, maybe about 10ish. But I still stick to my working hours and I try to come latest 9:30. So, and most of the time I'm in the office at about 9:15. And it's quite appalling that when me and my colleagues are in office and we've started work, we don't see our interns. So our interns have not arrived, and some even take the liberty to come at, I don't know, 10 a.m, 11 a.m, or even after lunch. It's as though they have their own style and just basically just live on their own timelines. And these are the things I noticed. So even if the work is very good and I noticed that this intern is just not even appearing for work on time but leaving work on time, then to me it is a sign of, I don't know, to me attitude is important. So small little things like this, I would think it would be good to at least be punctual for work and also respect your mentor, respect the workplace. I think it's good to show that you're treating the internship seriously. I have seen batches of interns that come to the office, gather around and basically have their own picnic and party. They just chit-chat all day and chit-chat very loudly to the point where the rest of us who are working in our rooms trying to focus on doing serious work, it's like we are so distracted by the chit-chats that we cannot complete our work properly. Yeah, so I think this is a sign of disrespect for the workplace also and for the people around, because it's just being inconsiderate. And even if you have nothing much to do or like your mentor isn't giving you sufficient work, I believe there are other things that you can do to occupy yourselves instead of just being distracting. And such other things being like reading up on the law, reading up on the area of practice, scheduling a time with a mentor to speak about the team, like essentially help yourself. So I know it's not the best thing if the mentor doesn't give you any work. They may delegate, but they may not have a lot of time to teach in detail how to do the work or essentially give a lot of attention to the intern. But I think there are certain things that the interns can do to elevate this situation, which is that ask yourself, what do you want to find out about this place during your internship? So I actually had a video about what to do during your internship, and if you have those things in mind, then you can at least go about in that direction. It doesn't have to be work per se. It can be understanding the culture, understanding the people, knowing who the bosses are, how the teams function. It's like all these things are very important. In fact, more important than the work, because I think I've said it before. If you have good work and a bad team, it makes work bad as well. It's like nobody will enjoy doing good work for bad people. Yeah, so these are things that actually can be observed and can be found out even if your mentor is too occupied to give you any substantive work. Second principle I feel is very important is sincerity. I think it's super important to be sincere when approaching your mentor. It's like at one glance we can tell whether someone is just trying to so-called wayang in front of us. For example, if an intern keeps trying to strike conversation with me over lunch, find out about me, about the team and all that, yes, I can sense that, okay, at least they're interested, they're trying to build some rapport, but at the same time, they do not appear for work on time. Or at the same time, I can catch them Skyping or chit-chatting or basically just going on long breaks during work hours. It's like a contradiction, right? It's like, are you sincere? A sincere person wouldn't do that. And I know that the interns in my batch, at least when we were interns, we would never do such things. I mean, yes, there were times that we could be playful and all that, but most of the time, we would show that at least we are sincere in learning, sincere in getting to know this team, sincere in our work, and not just putting up a front. At least when it was my turn to evaluate an intern as a mentor, I felt that I could see right through when an intern was just putting up a front, as opposed to an intern that was really sincere and like sincere in the work and sincere in building rapport. Yeah, I mean, it's also closely linked to the little things, because the little things show how you handle big things. Like if you cannot do the little things right, and if you're not even sincere in doing the little things, or you don't show that you have good attitude in doing the little things, what will convince your mentor that you can do big things right, and that you can do big things with good attitude and with integrity and with diligence? The last principle that I have is try to be comfortable with your senior. So it seems to be a contradiction, right? Being comfortable and yet paying attention to details. But to me, they're different things. So you can be comfortable with your seniors in terms of conversation. It's like striking out a conversation with a friend, trying to understand how the team works. Essentially, don't feel so scared, but at the same time, do respect basic courtesy. Don't step over your mentors or your seniors just because they're friendly and nice. And I hope that you will get nice mentors during your internship, and pray hard that your mentor will have at least some capacity to speak to you about the team and the culture and the work they do, even if they can't actually allocate or guide you through an actual piece of work. That's all. Bye.